slow.
Yeah,
Is it
it's
slow?
it's
Oh, clock slow. Oh, let's move on then. All right, I'm calling the meeting to order. And what we're going to do, we're going to take a moment to reflect, and we invite you to do so if you wish to do so. All right, thank you. All right, as Councilman Showalter to lead us in pledge of allegiance, please.
Thank you.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we have about 4 items on our public hearing. Correction, let me back up a little bit. Are there any adjustments to the agenda? Seeing none? Okay. Item number 3 is public hearing. Item A, public hearing is for a conditional use permit requested by Robert Young for a towing and storage facility at 375 Bell Road, Northeast in the I-2 General Industrial District. The property is designated as mixed use with buffer on the future land use map of the 2013 Christiansburg Comprehensive Plan. Is there anyone here that want to speak to this? Mr. Young? Yeah, please give us your name and address, please.
Robert Young, 8338 Plantation Road, Roanoke.
Okay.
I just want to say I think it's a good fit for this. We're buying it from the facility there's now where they practice the baseball, and we're going to donate 60% of the building back to them. We're going to have a divider wall put in. They're going to still continue to use it. They're going to use the space right behind the building and then the space to the left of the building outside to have a place to continue to practice, and we're donating that for the next 5 years.
And Mr. Young, just so everybody's aware of the location, you're referring to the property. It's kind of located behind Hubble Lighting. Is that correct?
It's sort of side hubble.
Right. Yeah. I guess it's the side.
You turn it in,
depending on the way you're oriented and all.
Yeah.
And the Thunderdome is what you're referring to as far as the location for the baseball practice facility.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Very good. Very good.
This is the old Pepsi building?
Yes, sir. They'll
And before that, yep. And a number of things.
Okay. Any other questions for Mr. Young?
And that's the planning commission. We heard him a couple of weeks ago, and it was approved, from them, and we voted the same night that was there. And I also talked with the Montgomery County Emergency Services Coordinator, Neil Turner, and he said that they abide by all the rules and regulations. No problem whatsoever.
Okay. Any other comments?
I see there's somebody here from the Christiansburg baseball team.
Okay.
I'm Mike Harris. I'm Vice President of the New River Baseball Incorporated, New River Thunder. As several of you know, just a few years ago I came up here and asked for a conditional use permit for this. This has been very helpful for Christiansburg baseball and softball. I do believe for the school teams, we've been seeing that up and stuff like this. But this was a great opportunity for organization. Taking on as a nonprofit with limited amount of money and taking care of all the expenses and stuff like that. It's been quite a chore. It's been one we've been managing, stuff like this, but this is a great opportunity, especially for the next 5 years. We have a contract agreement with Mr. Young on continuing to use the facility and stuff like that. It looks like opportunities, well beyond that. So from our part, as far as the youth sports goes, I think it's a great deal as well.
Mr. Harris, let me ask you just a question, because I'm trying to get it in my mind and try to picture the towing and storage as it relates to the baseball facility and basically working together. And again, that's what we would hope to see happen, is that, again, businesses and nonprofits can work together when you need to. But how is that going to work out? I mean, how is it, not contractual terms or anything, but
Sure.
there's certain amounts going to be dedicated back to the team, and so what do you all envision?
I took a drawing I put together of the building internally.
Right.
I basically divided. We get a little over 60%, but that's what we get.
Right.
We're getting the back part. We're installing the door on the side that we're going to access it
Okay.
at that point, no longer from the front, which we were. And then on the outside, there's a grassed area. We're going to continue to keep that as a grassed area, but it'll be a place we might put up a couple cages, may put up a net to protect cars and adjacent properties or something like that from a miscellaneous baseball.
Understood.
But, and of course, anything out there, I think dark would control that, because there's not a light, we wouldn't be out there too
And
much.
there's already a large perimeter fencing around that, if I recall. Is
There,
that correct?
on the front access, there is, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and they agreed to put up the slats and the fencing or the, what you call the black, stuff that covers up the view from it. And so that's been approved also, or it was approved by the planning commission.
Okay. Anyone else? All right, Jim, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to item B. Public hearing for conditional use permit requested by Elijah Bowen of Blue Ridge Motion LLC, agent for Kevin Carter for a private recreation facility, a gym, at 43492 Reading Road, Southeast Unit D, in the I-2 General District, Industrial District. The property is designated for business and commercial on the future land use map of the 2013 Christiansburg Comprehensive Plan. Is there anyone here that want to speak on this? Yes, sir.
I'll apologize ahead of time. I'm getting like over a cold, so I'm very hard to speak right now. Well, my name is Elijah. I live at 204B Barberry Road, Floyd County, Virginia. And what I'm trying to do is to get permission to set up a parkour gym in there. If you guys are unfamiliar with what parkour is, it is a movement discipline that incorporates like obstacle course running. You can think of it as like American Ninja Warrior, people that run up walls and do flips and stuff of that nature. My apologies. That's the main thing we're looking at doing at this particular location. Let's see what else. Just a little tidbit about myself, since I haven't spoken with you guys prior to this, I don't believe. I've been doing parkour for about 10 years. I've been teaching movement, which includes parkour, for about 5. And gotten no serious injuries other than minor sprains and things like that among the students that I teach. It's a very safe sport. In a lot of respects, it's safer than gymnastics. And it's a sport that, in particular, a lot of teenagers are drawn to. That's a huge part of kids that come to us are kids over 13, so it's a pretty good market to be touching for us. And I'm trying to think if there's anything more specific. Other than that, I think the main concerns over the permit were listed as parking. So
That was a question I was going to ask you about. I noticed the Planning Commission, they're going to reconvene, I take it, on the 30th of October. And they would ask for some additional comment or maybe some additional information to be provided by yourself pursuant to the parking allocations, on-street parking, off-street parking. Do you foresee yourself being able to provide that to the Planning Commission by the 30th of October?
yeah, I've actually got it now. So.
Could you maybe just briefly just tell us how many parking spots are you feeling that you're going to have that's going to be necessary? Will it be on-street? Will it be off-street?
Well, for the most part, the place is a gravel lot. It's just one kind of big open space for the most part. In terms of available parking, it's kind of open to what we could do is like designate spaces. Just get just get some paint and mark out sections appropriate for each space for a car. When I was mapping it out, there's a pretty good amount of space within pretty close to the building, right, basically on the other side of it, that could accommodate maybe 8 cars on this side and about 8 more on the other side of it, of this water tower structure that's out there.
That sounds like it would be fairly sufficient, correct?
Oh yeah,
That's what I'm.
yeah.
Have you provided that information to the Planning Commission yet?
Not
problem.
officially yet, I don't think.
No. One other problem that we saw is you relayed to us that there was going to be, that you would be having A lot of people there under 12 also, right? A lot of kids come there. And we want to make sure that when the kids are let off by their parents, that they're not going to be hit by a car. You know, we want to make, you know, there's nothing more important than a child.
Oh, yeah.
And we got to make sure that that's set up or it ain't going to happen. Okay?
Yeah, well, I mean, in terms of, I don't presently see any major hazards in that regard. It looks, I mean, on the picture I provided of just the overall view of the top from like Google Earth, it's, I don't think it'll be any kind of problem for that. Kids probably drop off if somebody does want to park. Most people don't. But if they did, it's pretty much like, it'd be like a one-lane parking section, and the roadway where you can drive back is big enough for like 2.5 or 3 cars to be there, breadth-wise. So,
I may be able to add as well, staff will be meeting out there on Friday morning with Mr. Bowman,
Very
and
good.
to walk the site and then to finalize the drawings that will then Friday afternoon be sent to planning commission.
So that'll be on the 27th, then, so for all intents and
Okay.
purposes, we can
Thanks.
expect planning commission here, I guess, on the 30th. We'll be able to convene,
Yeah.
have the information, and have staff involvement, and be able to provide a recommendation.
We will.
Very good. Thank you.
Thanks, Andrew.
At the peak time, how many people do you think will be in there?
in the building itself.
Yes. How many, I'm not sure if those were the competitors or athletes or whatever.
I guess athletes is appropriate.
Sure.
Let's see. The building itself is relatively small for the unit that we're getting. So I just put as a general estimation that we could probably take as many as 35. It's unlikely we'll have that many in there at any one time. You figure most classes that we've taught in the past, even when there's been overlapping classes, we've never usually had more than like 20. So it's, especially with so many different days available, most people don't try to all go at once. So.
Do you have one way in and one way out? Or do you have a back door as well?
No, there's a main bay door that opens up, and then there's just a regular entry door.
Okay.
And as far as from
in
a
front.
licensing standpoint, what type of policy are you going to be required to carry for commercial entities such as this? Liability policy?
Like insurance-wise?
Yes.
Usually a general liability policy covers it.
I guess more along the lines of limits. What is it going to be required for you to?
Requirement as in like
Dollar amounts.
how much
Per occurrence or
Per
yeah,
occurrence?
yeah. So what are you going to be carrying as far as insurance on something like this?
It's a good question. I'm not really sure yet. We're still looking into getting the estimates from another company.
Okay.
So in terms of the limits, we were thinking about just starting general and seeing where we went from there, depending on how busy we would start to get. But I'm not sure what the standard rate is. So.
I didn't know if there was like an industry. I don't know much about this industry. I've heard of it. Certainly, we've all watched some of the TV shows that have it, but I'm not too familiar with it. To be honest with you, so that's why I was kind of wondering if there was kind of an institutional standard.
No, that's kind of the interesting thing about it is right now there's no like governing body of parkour itself because it's not recognized as an official sport in the U.S. yet.
Okay.
So in terms of what it is, it's kind of left up to the individual to figure out what insurance they need and work out whatever works specifically for them at this point.
Where's the closest facility like this, if you're familiar?
It would either be in North Carolina or D.C.
So that far away. So.
Yeah, so over 100 miles. So we would be the only facility in this entire area teaching this specific discipline.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, moving on to item C. Public hearing for proposed ordinance to amend Chapter 42 zoning of the Christiansburg Town Code to permit a single chair beauty parlor, hair salon, or barber shop as a major home occupation. Is there anyone here to speak on this?
Hi, I'm April Collins. I live at 315 Circle Drive, Southeast. And we are here looking to amend the 42 zoning to allow a single chair beauty salon in our home. So I've been a hairdresser 27 years. I've owned a business in Christiansburg now for 16. And I'm looking to just go down south and go into a home and do it.
Okay.
So, and we've met with planning and all of them, up to this, and we've looked at the standards. And like I said, I've worked in the industry for 27, so I know all of the things that I need to have done and have in place to have a salon, as far as for the health and the safety and insurance and things like that also. So, and it would be, have its own separate entrance. We have a huge parking, 20-70 driveway there. And it would be mostly, well, it is only by appointment, because I only work certain days, certain hours, and only take certain clientele at this point, so.
And Harry, my understanding is the planning commission proposed adoption of this amendment?
Yes, sir.
6-0 unanimous vote, correct?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I think we got to vote on it tonight. Wherever you want that to come, to fall within the agenda.
It's not on our agenda, we're going to make.
Yeah, let's do that.
That's-
At the appropriate time.
Yeah, go ahead,
I'm fine with it on tonight.
Yeah.
And here's a stupid question. You're only gonna have one person at a time.
Absolutely. Only have 2 hands that can work on one person at a time. So,
All right, while you're standing, I'm gonna go ahead and move on down to item D, if
Okay.
that's appropriate.
Yeah.
All right, public hearing for a conditional use permit requesting contingent on the above item by April and Russell Collins for a major home occupation, hair salon at 315 Circle Drive Southeast in the R2 Family Residential District. The property is designated as residential on the future land use map for 2013 Christiansburg Comprehensive Plan. All right, now I have a question for you. Did you say that you are licensed and trained to do this?
yes.
You are? Okay.
Yeah, I carry a Virginia
You do have-
cosmetology professional license. I also carry a teaching license in cosmetology also.
Mr. Wingfield, if I could ask yourself, just went off, in relation to D, I take it that we've heard no complaints from any neighbors or residents around there, or have we?
No, sir, we have not.
Right.
They did, also, I believe it was in the packet, the council packet had a petition that was signed by the adjacent neighbors, and the Collins could probably speak to that.
Yeah, all of my neighbors signed a petition saying that it was fine for me to have this one
That's
there.
good.
And we've received nothing negative, is what I guess what I'm getting. There's nothing negative at all that we've
We have not
received, no
any
concerns.
comments- No concerns regarding the code amendment or this particular conditional use permit.
Very good.
Position.
Thank you.
Are any of your neighbors customers as well?
Absolutely not. That's
They
the
got free
funny
haircuts
thing.
for next year.
No, that is the funny thing, they are not customers of mine, they've just been neighbors for 7 years.
May I ask you how long you've resided there?
Yes, we've resided there, we've owned the home for 9 years.
So you know your neighbors very well?
Yes.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Very good. Okay. So is this like pseudo-retirement, kind of, when you downsize to one chair?
Hoping.
I hear- I-
27 years of doing it, only
I
do
keep-
3 days.
I keep telling everybody when they retire, they seem like they're busier in retirement than they were when they were working full-time, so
No,
I,
I'm dedicating.
I wish
time
it
to
had
my
been.
kids and not to my clients.
All right, Mr. Collins, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Anyone else want to comment on this request?
I make a
Did Brad say something that maybe we could vote on this
we're gonna do it
tonight?
right.
Have we already
He's working on
decided that? Okay.
That's what we're getting ready to, yeah.
Go ahead.
I'd like to suggest to council, I'll make a motion that we add items, council action on items A, C, and D to tonight's agenda under discussion and action by the mayor and council, item 8.
I'll second that motion.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Also say that all 3 items had unanimous support from the planning commission.
I'd second that.
So we'll go with that. Okay, clerk, let's take roll, please.
Yes, sir. Councilman Collins?
Aye.
Councilman Hall?
Aye.
Councilman Hubbard?
Aye.
Councilman Showalter?
Aye.
Councilman Stipes?
Aye.
And motion's 5-0. All right, the next item we have will be our consent agenda, which is, let me get the right one. The consent agenda items are council meetings from October the 10th, 2017, monthly bills, and downtown watershed study engineering contract approval.
We do not have the final version of the contract when we put the packet out on Friday, but that's in front of you.
That's what this,
That's what this is.
okay. Okay. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Madam Clerk, take roll, please.
Yes, sir. Councilman Collins?
Aye.
Councilman Hall?
Aye.
Councilman Hubbard?
Aye.
Councilman Showalter?
Aye.
Councilman Stipes?
Aye.
Okay, that's 5-0, motion approved.
Mr. Bishop, if I could ask one quick question of the chair. The public hearings, A, C, and D, just so for housekeeping, I take it we're going to put that as items A, B, and C under Section 8, discussion action by mayor and council?
It was the S1H, yes,
Okay, I just would, okay,
yes. Okay, this is the town board will open the floor to citizens' comments. And we ask if you come forward to tell us your name and your address and keep your comments to a total maximum of 5 minutes. Is there anyone that want to address council at this time?
I guess I'm just complicated, I'm sorry, I was late.
Okay.
The one for the Blue Ridge motion, it seems like this guy, Kevin Carter, is playing y'all. First he comes in for the first one, the barbell, and fitness. The people that are listed here are registered agents. Registered agents aren't the owner of the business. That should be contact the State Corporation Commission. Councilman Hall should probably know about those things as far as businesses and all that, and registered agents, how that works. But they come in and they get one, they start the business, and then they come to you all and ask for forgiveness. And you approve it. And then a couple of months later, they come back and say, well, now we want another one right next door. It just seems like if they wanted it, and I believe it was court that asked at the time about, you know, how much equipment are you going to be moving in here and everything else. And they're like, oh, well, nothing really major. But now they're back again. And it's this Kevin Carter who I haven't seen in any of the meetings. And he's the one who's actually the owner of the business or whatever. The other people that you have come before you, I forget her name, but it was a female. She's the registered agent. She's not the owner. You know, they're having different people come here for the same person to ask you for different things. And it just seems to me that maybe y'all want to kind of take a look at, you know, the way that they're doing this. It just seems kind of odd to me.
May I ask you a question, Mr. Walsh?
Yes.
What's your theory, or why do you think that is?
Well, I don't know. I mean,
What's your concern, is the way to put it? What would be your concern with that?
well, like I said at first when it started with the whole, that one moose lodge or whatever.
Right.
And you all kept, you know, at that meeting, several of you said, you know, I do this for industrials, for manufacturing. And a month later, they come to you and say, oh, yeah, we want this, but they had already started their business. And they admitted that
That's
to me.
okay.
And, you know, it seems like, I don't know why they're doing it, but it seems like this Kevin Carter is having different people come to you and ask him. He's the one who's benefited from this.
Okay.
And I wonder why it is that he's not coming out here, you know, and asking for all this special treatment instead of sending other people, you know, to the zoning commission meeting and everything else.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think I'll point out, Mr.
Yes, sir.
Carter's just the property owner, he's not actually the business operator.
Typically businesses show up, right? Right. They're the ones who put the money out. I see, yeah. Agent for Kevin Carter.
All right. Any other comments?
Kevin Carter he rents us out, and to these other businesses.
Correct.
If there's no other comments, I'll close the citizens' comments section and move on to introductions and presentations. New employees, Mr. Wingfield.
Got Travis Smalls here to introduce some new public works employees.
Good evening. I have two new public works employees to introduce to you tonight. The first one is Calvin Graham. Calvin joined our team on October 2nd as a traffic control technician trainee. Calvin is born and raised in Christiansburg. He graduated from New River Community College with a degree in electrical, engineering, and instrumentation. He previously worked at Virginia Tech in facility maintenance, and in his spare time, he enjoys working on and troubleshooting electronics. The second employee I have to introduce is Taylor Green. Taylor also joined our Public Works team on October 2nd. He is originally from Lynchburg, but lives in Christiansburg now. He graduated from Central Virginia Community College with a degree in criminal justice, and he also graduated from New River Community College with a degree in electronics technology. His hobbies include fishing, working on cars, and car audio systems. And he's also engaged and will be married next month.
Congratulations. Welcome.
Item B is introduction of Christiansburg Town Council and Christiansburg High School Government Partnership. Mr. Collins, I believe you want to address this.
Yes, sir. The council here has met with the high school, and we're trying to develop a program for the students there to come here to learn about, what we do, and for us to learn from them too, to be quite frank with you, because these are smart individuals, and we can learn a lot from them. And now the first man that's going to speak to us tonight, he's the co-president of the council of school, Mr. Patel. You want to stand up and
Hi, my
say
name
a few words?
Patel, and I live at 520-B Rainbow Street, Christiansburg, Virginia, and I go to Christiansburg High School. I'm the co-president of SGA, the student government there.
Excuse me, Mr. Patel, could I ask you to go to the podium, please? Get your back to everyone. That's okay.
My first time.
That's okay. That's fine, we're doing good.
So as Mr. Collins said, we're trying to get a partnership with the council and Christiansburg High School, student government club there. And I feel like this will be a great partnership, and it will get the school involved with more in town council, get more informed about town council, what the town's doing, and all that. And I feel like it will just benefit the school, the town as a whole, to get our input also and have our say in the town.
Thanks, but as most of you folks know, the school system is controlled by the county. However, the reason that we're doing this is because each person who attends Christiansburg High School is a citizen of Christiansburg, Virginia, and that's what we're about, and that's why we're, want to work with them. Thank you very much.
Let me ask you, before you sit down, Mr. Patel, number one, thank you for being here. And I appreciate you, again, telling us that you feel like there's going to be a benefit derived from the school and individuals you work with and on a daily basis, that there'll be benefit to you all as well. But if I may push you a little bit, and if you don't mind, and is there anything in particular, just from the outset, that you see could be a benefit as far as a good partnership between the SGA and members of the Christiansburg High School, not staff and faculty, but the students and the town council? Anything in particular that you'd like to see happen?
I would like the students to be more informed about what the town's doing, because students at Christiansburg High School have no idea what's happening with the town, construction-wise or anything.
Y'all been dealing with it, though, haven't you, up there? Yep. Daily in high school.
What's your plans then from here? Are you going to go back to the school and present what you've learned, or?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
We'll
Please let
have
us know what
SGA
you.
meeting and talk about what I've learned here and
Yeah.
how to
Yeah.
benefit this partnership as a whole.
Okay.
In past years, they used to have the government classes come here at one time, for each class. And I always thought that was good for the class and for us, and get them a little bit more informed. You might want to pass that on that, we have room for it. And I think it'd be good for them and for us to get a little more knowledgeable about what's going on in the town.
That'll be-
And we've already asked for their help in one project. We're trying to get a road approved between 114 and Franklin Street. And right now, when we do it, on the maps, it's just called the Connector Road. And we've asked these students to come up with a name. Okay, so that'd be pretty interesting.
Yeah, we're gonna work on that.
Harry Collins Drive,
We knew that was
Yeah. Thanks, man. And I'd also like to introduce Alexandra Call. She's from Virginia Tech, and she came to one of our planning commission meetings one night, and she was working on a project, and we got to discussing stuff, and we asked her if she would like to help us to put this program together, and she said yes, she would like to, and she's actually getting the college credit for doing this. So, anything you'd like to say to them, or encourage them, or?
I was taking a community involvement class, and that's how I got involved in this. One of the topics we covered specifically was how young people aren't really given as much of a voice in their meetings or their localities. So I think that this project is really groundbreaking, and I think that we're all kind of looking to see how it works out and help it grow in the future. So I think it'll be really good.
Thank y'all for being here.
Sure will.
I'd just like to make a comment. I appreciate Regal being here. I can call him Regal because he's in my JA class.
Okay.
I believe, and it was really easy for him. But he's a very serious student. He's a great student. He's part of the Mr. CHS pageant. And got to learn a little bit more about you when I attended that. But I talked to him briefly right before this. Is sort of, my view on council, and I appreciate Mr. Hubbard mentioning the students who get credit or something for coming down here, and they're usually on their phones in the back and don't introduce themselves. And I know it's a little bit different, but I embrace this relationship where we're opening up. And some of the things when I was talking with him about possibly job shadowing, or I know Dr. Muir has a big program concerning that, and inviting them down to either sit with the town manager or Melissa in public relations. And it's really, and they already discussed that. So I thought that was really neat.
That's
but,
great, yeah.
One thing I did challenge him to take back to the Government Association of Christiansburg High School, which I'm sure he will, is sort of, to challenge yourselves to enhance the program. People stop showing up when you just come down and you watch us for 30 minutes and you don't really have any skin in the game or really any input for it. It's not going to, of course they can't have a vote. That's what we get elected for, to make those decisions. But I think it's very important to hear from that demographic within our town and for them to learn what the town of Christiansburg means to them. So I just appreciate you being here and getting the ball rolling. And you too, Harry.
Thanks, buddy.
I'll make one other comment.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. Patel, this goes back a few years, and it doesn't really matter. I went to Blacksburg High School, and actually, they had, an interesting, no, I know. No, I couldn't help where my parents decided to live. But seriously, one thing that we did, we actually had Student Government Day to where you had a little election and you had town council. I was actually on Blacksburg Town Council for a day before I was ever here. But they had elections there, and we gave, the town gave us actually meaningful things to discuss and decide on and recommend to council. But that would be an idea to town council day where your students run the town, have a meeting and come up with we have items that we want your input on. But anyway, that's an idea too. Student Government Day, and you run the town for a day. And that would include shadowing. It could be all kinds of things, but just an idea.
That'll be a neat idea.
Yeah, it'd be a great idea, wouldn't it? Good deal.
And thank you for being here.
Absolutely.
Okay. Anyone else?
Thank you all. Thank you.
All right, we're going to go ahead and move on to committee reports. Are there any reports? Mr. Wingfield, you have anything? I have none. All right. Moving right along then. Next item is the discussion and action by mayor and town council. All right, I guess the first item we're going to take up is the add-on, this is A, from the public hearing.
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we approve the conditional use permit as requested by Mr. Young there for the facility at 375 Bell Road Northeast.
I second it.
Okay. Motion and a second. Madam Secretary?
Yes, sir. Councilman Collins?
Aye.
Councilman Hall?
Aye.
Councilman Hubbard?
Aye.
Councilman Showalter?
Aye.
Councilman Stipes?
Aye.
Okay, votes 5-0, motion has passed. All right, the next item is item C.
Or is Mr. Hall renamed to B?
Well, do we need to rename it?
Well, I'll make it easy.
Under section 80, renamed to
C and D.
Well, I'll make them easy, and I think we can do this jointly. It's
C and D.
well, I'll take them individually. I'll make a motion that we approve the. That we modify the town code pursuant to the recommended proposed ordinance, amending chapter 42 zoning pursuant to subsections, B, under this provision.
I second it.
Okay, have a motion and a second. Madam Secretary?
Yes, sir. Councilman Collins?
Aye.
Councilman Hall?
Aye.
Councilman Hubbard?
Aye.
Councilman Showalter?
Aye.
Councilman Stipes?
Aye.
I'm sorry, the confusion. Yeah, A, B, C.
That's okay, I'm with you.
4 letters out there.
Yeah, more chance.
Attorney to make it complicated.
Right, all right, the vote's 5-0, motion has passed. Okay, Adam, what's the next item?
I don't know. I'm gonna be quiet this time.
Item
D.
All right, we'll go ahead, Item D.
It's the item formerly known as D.
There we go.
Formerly known as D, now it's known as C.
Right.
All right, go ahead.
I'll make a motion to approve the conditional use permit by the Collins for a major home occupation, a one-chair hair salon pursuant to the approval of item C above.
Second.
I second that.
All right, have a motion and a second. Madam Secretary, take roll, please.
Yes, sir. Councilman Hall? I'm
With
sorry.
conditions, correct?
With the
With
conditions.
conditions
Yeah,
as
yeah.
presented to council
Yeah.
and approved by the planning commission. Yes. Thank you.
Councilman Collins?
Aye.
Councilman Hall?
Aye.
Councilman Hubbard?
Aye.
Councilman Showalter?
Aye.
Councilman Stipes?
Aye.
All right, votes 5-0, motion has been approved. Good luck to you.
I'm gonna make a quick motion. I'm gonna need to rescind by a vote my request for a public hearing on A. We're going to have to redo that. We did not list specifically on the record the conditions and note that those conditions would be applicable. So I apologize for that. I'll make a motion that I rescind my request to approve the conditional use permit by Mr. Young for the towing and storage facility. If there's a withdrawal of the second, then I can remake the motion with the conditions.
That'd be Mr. Collins.
Yeah,
Second.
let's second it. Yeah.
So withdraw.
Yeah. To withdraw, yeah.
Okay,
And
now do it again.
and Miss
And then come back and.
Hey, I know you're way down there.
Huh?
That's okay.
And I want to ask for guidance from the town attorney because we have approved that matter. But is this matter still within the rest of the council to where we can withdraw that to reapprove?
Yes, I would actually suggest that you just move to amend to include the, so you don't have to just move to amend your motion that was already voted on, just to
There you
include
go.
the.
Okay. Well, we've not taken a vote on the motion to withdraw in the second, so until that's still on the table, but at this point in time, then I could make a motion to amend, and we could vote on the motion to amend.
Yeah.
In that case, I would make the motion to amend my previous request for the CUP to be approved in regards to Mr. Young to include the 8 conditions that are noted in the council packet pursuant to the Planning Commission recommendations.
Mhm. Would you say it again? No, I'm just kidding.
I'm sorry.
All right, do we have a second?
Second.
All right, Madam Secretary, take roll, please.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Councilman Collins?
Aye.
Councilman Hall?
Aye.
Councilman Hubbard? Councilman Showalter?
Aye.
Councilman Stipes?
Aye.
All right, votes 5-0, motion has passed.
And I apologize
That's okay,
for
we
that.
all missed
That's an
that.
oversight on my behalf, and thank you, Ms. Attorney, for helping us out with that.
All right, where we at? All right, are there any other items to be discussed?
Excuse me, I don't think you included the conditions on the salon either, on the conditions.
Yes, we did.
They include that.
Okay, good, you did.
Yes.
I missed it,
Yes, we
sorry.
Yes.
We got
That wasn't
that.
the only one.
We got that, yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, we'll go ahead and move on with staff reports. Mr. Wingfield?
Okay, just like to recognize Assistant Director of Engineering and Operations, Todd Walters. He's been with the town over 29 years. He's leaving November 3rd to take the Newmarket Town Manager position. And just to tell you how valuable he was to the town and how valuable I know he'll be to Newmarket. Just say, I know we can fill his position, but we definitely can't replace the person. He's been great to work with and just really good dealing with people, exemplary employee. I think you probably all know that.
And I got to throw in one thing right there. Alexandra Call, her uncle used to be the town manager for Newmarket, and now she's here with us. It's a small world. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Would it be a right thing to do to maybe give him some kind of a certificate or something of that nature of
I can certainly
work
draft
that he has given to the town?
Yeah.
I can certainly draft something and bring it to the next meeting if you like.
That'd be great, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, when's he leaving?
November 3rd is his last day.
Okay.
And November 6th is his first day there, I
Yes.
think.
That's good. Not taking a break at all.
He's taking a weekend.
Okay, all right.
I'd like to set a public hearing for a budget amendment, November 28th, if that's acceptable. Okay. Also like to set several committee meetings. Would you rather I get with you individually as committee members? And I guess one thing also, I'll bring up some work sessions that are still kind of pending. Farmers market insurance requirement, town and VDOT mowing, and I will let you know that I've spoken to VDOT. They say their contractor is mowing the interstate this week, but they should be mowing it here in town next week. Also, the Tourism Development Council wants to come and make a presentation to council. Got Blacksburg Transit needing to make a presentation for council. And at some point, I'd want to maybe bring up a topic of the photo project in town buildings. Those are all, I could see those all being work session items if you care for them.
The second item, Mr. Wingfield, the insurance for the farmer's market was, I know something, I know Harry and I think Sam have talked about before. What was the second item you mentioned of the five?
VDOT and town mowing?
Yes. And I'm fine if we want to set these things tonight. I've got my schedule with me, but I see no reason why we couldn't do, because the VDOT mowing has been something more pressing, at least right now, and certainly has been in the eye. And the insurance for the farmer's market,
I will say this, I think if this final mowing will probably be their final mowing.
I would think so.
So,
I would hope so, right, season. But I'm fine with whatever council wants to do if we want to, but I feel like we can join some of those things in. I don't think the farmer's market and the VDOT is going to take that long as far as being.
Yeah, I was
each
thinking
of their
that maybe there's a chance that we could do all of them at one time.
I don't think so.
No. Not the transit's going to take at least an hour and a half, 2 hours. And the tourism development would be a whole
I
session.
think tourism's probably an hour and a half
Yeah.
at least, and the transit's probably an hour and a half.
Yep.
You have any dates in mind, Mr. Wingfield?
Well, if you tried to do it next Tuesday, that's Halloween. I think that might interfere with some of you. And
That's because of my treat.
Frankly, and also, and why I think about
Is there any
it.
one of these we could fit for council? Be here at 5:30
We
for the
could,
tourism,
we
or
could,
6?
or we could have it the first Tuesday in November potentially.
Do it, Randy, I'm sorry.
Or the first Tuesday in November, or both potentially.
Whatever we do, let's get it done, you know? We've been dragging this stuff out for a long time.
But let's.
I believe the VDOT mowing and the farmer's market we could tackle
Could we not do
easily
that?
within an hour. Because basically you're informing us and
That's right.
getting some feedback, and the farmer's market, I think we've all heard about that for a while.
Yep.
We've all discussed it amongst each other for a while, and I think that's something we don't need to have 2 hours. But I know the transit, we're going to have to reserve some time for that, and also, I would say tourism development, you said yourself, it's an hour and a half.
If I could make just a recommendation, then the insurance, the farmer's market, and the VDOT, what if we were to do a 5:30 to 7 meeting before council, the first session in November, and hold off on scheduling the tourism and the transit until that first meeting in November? The rationale being, we may need to have some additional meetings on other items going forward, and so I feel like that if we could set those first two, those are two I think we can get done in an hour and a half together. The tourism and transit, I think, are standalone work sessions or standalone meetings.
They are.
That are going to take a while, because I mean, it might be an hour and a half presentation, but I know that on transit, it's going to be at least an hour's worth of questions as well.
The first Tuesday in November is election day. I'm not real keen on having a meeting. on
Right.
election
Well, no,
day.
I'm sorry. I'm talking about
Not you.
No, I don't mean the first.
I see why.
I don't mean the first. I said the first meeting in November.
Our first meeting.
But it'd be the second Tuesday of November. So what I mean.
I'm fine with that. I think that can work within my schedule.
So we're talking about 5:30 on the 14th?
5:30 for the farmer's market insurance and the VDOT and town mowing.
Would that be sufficient, you think?
I
think so. Okay, great.
Randy, can we talk about the other two? Because odds are, since they're going to be separate meetings, we're going to have to make arrangements in December. I would say we're going to approach the holidays at that time.
So
Or the Thanksgiving holiday.
Unless you wanted to have them all in on off Tuesday, sometime in November.
Yeah. So can we talk about it at that meeting, or do you need?
Sure, that's fine.
Is that enough time to put a public notice?
Yes, we only really need 3 days to post.
Okay. So right now, we got November 14th at 5:30 p.m., the farmer's market insurance and the VDOT prior to the town council meeting at 7. So,
And at some point, possibly the photo project.
Yes. Can we include that? Is there enough time to include that with the farmer's market, or is that too much?
I think we could at least touch on it.
Okay.
All right, why don't we do that?
Anything else, Mr. Winfield?
Like I say, I do have several, well, I guess one other training I mentioned to you before is basically a training on FOIA, conflict of interest, things like that. But I know we want to wait until after the election on that. Maybe even wait until the new people take office. Also, I do have several committee meetings to schedule. Central Business Committee, Finance Committee, Street Committee. Would you want me to get with the groups individually and try to schedule those?
I don't have my calendar yet. That's good.
That's all I've got.
Okay.
Thank you for bringing that up. I was going to
Absolutely.
mention the finance committee tonight, so appreciate that.
And Mr. Winkle, just for what it's worth, the recycling initiative where we sent out the RFP.
Yes.
What is the deadline date on that?
November 30th.
Okay, because we'll want to have a meeting in December then to discuss. Thank you.
Anything else? Teresa, you have anything for us? No. Any other staff members have anything to bring to town council? All right, if not, we're going to move on to council reports. Mr. Hubbard.
Well, the only thing I have to say is about the swim meet that was held at the Aquatic Center last Friday night. And it was a sort of their second try to work. Tech wants to try to work with the community as much as they can, and they get the two sides getting enthusiasm from the town for some of their swim meets. And so Friday night, Frank Beamer was at the swim meet, and the Hokey Bird and cheerleaders, and had a good crowd of people from the town. And I thought it worked out. They had 5 swim teams, and it was really a good evening, and I think everybody was pleased with what happened, and I'm hoping that maybe they can do some things like that more in the future.
Mr. Walton.
The reason for mission, one of the main items, and we have 2 speakers coming up, and I know this was it's been a hot issue with in the forums, but we have Jody Keenan, Director of Small Business Development Centers Network in Virginia, and also Bart Smith, which is the Director of the Roanoke Regional Small Business Development Center. They're coming to talk to the Regional Commission. Bart Smith particularly, that's who I mentioned during our last meeting, and the reason why I mention is because the incubator is a hot topic. We've had candidates say, hey, they want to create one. I know Radford had one years ago, and it actually shut down due to council selected not to fund it. It's a drain on revenues and wasn't that productive. But this organization, and I know when I say Roanoke, everybody's sort of like, wow, that's so far away. But a lot of municipalities participate in the one in Roanoke. It's got a very good reputation, and that's why they're attending. And it's something I mentioned last time, in lieu of us creating one, which would probably be several $100,000, I would assume. You're welcome to come and attend. I'll probably ask Mr. Smith to come and talk to us at some point in the new year, just to see, what other municipalities are doing to participate in it. And again, they have a great record, and they are available to New River businesses, or if you're thinking about starting a business. If you would just look it up online, it's in Roanoke. It's a small business development center. They'll meet with you. They'll advise you, and it's a great asset. And I think it would be a great asset for us in lieu of creating a whole new entity when we're already sort of strapped in a way when we get into the budget season. But if you can attend, and that's for anybody here or anybody on council, the Regional Commission meets in an incubator in Fairlawn. It's the old ITT building, for those of us who've been around. And it involves every municipality in our area: Narrows, Harrisburg, or Giles County, Pulaski, Floyd County. So you would also get to meet all these representatives that come together and meet on a monthly basis. And the Regional Commission as a whole is great, and the director has done great things, and this is something I'm looking forward to. So if you know somebody who wants to get into small business or start their own brewery or something like that, tell them to come over to the Regional Commission on Thursday, and they can listen to these guys and even probably even set an appointment to meet with them. But I appreciate that.
Mr. Stark.
And it made it 6 o'clock too.
Sorry, did I say 7?
No.
No, I didn't say
you
that.
didn't, but yes.
6 o'clock.
That's 6, okay. Mr. Stark.
This last week, I was contacted by another vendor at the farmer's market this year, and I know that that's on each of our minds, and I don't, with the upcoming season, ironically, we're bringing that up tonight, but I really think we need to make sure we've got a plan in place to up the ante on the attention that's getting, perhaps even a full-time position and so forth. We'll talk about that, but I just want to make sure that could be part of our discussion.
Actually, that's one of the items I've got from the Finance Committee is the possibility of hiring an events coordinator position for the town and also have them manage the farmer's market.
Yes, perfect, okay.
Of course, they'd be very dedicated to promotion of the market and improvement.
Okay.
I think we are getting to that point. We have so many events and they're so large that it's justified to have a dedicated position.
Well, we had a drop this year in participation, and of course, with the passing of Bill Aldridge and the exodus of Sarah Belcher. If we don't have a plan in place soon and a plan to give that some energy and enthusiasm, then it's going to stumble along this year. We can't have that. So thank you. That's something I have.
Okay. On that same note, Mr. Winkler, where are we at far as Christmas this year with the farmers market?
We just have recently advertised for vendors.
So we are still on.
Yes.
Who headed up this year since she's not?
PR is handling it.
Oh, good deal.
Micah.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Mr. Hall?
Right, and not to plumb off of what Mr. Stiver just stated, but he's absolutely correct. And I think we've always looked at it as something, I call it a person for all aspects of downtown, an events coordinator, farmer's market individual, but someone else that takes care of the scheduling, the organizing. Right now we have another number of different entities, and unfortunately, scheduling sometimes, I know we had this year with the sign fiasco a little bit last year. I mean, having one central person that everybody goes to, I feel like would only enhance. And that person also would allow, I think, actively recruiting and marketing or whatever is necessary downtown. Kind of the kind of person you want to just wind up and let them go, basically. But I'm in full support of that, and I'm glad that we're going to be able to talk about that a little bit on the Finance Committee is going to speak about it. But I figure it would also probably come up during our farmers market meeting. Two things I want to mention very briefly. I want to thank Mr. Wingfield, and I want to thank Mr. Langanese who's here. The feedback since the last meeting on the curbside recycling initiative, the RFP, has been tremendous. I'm sure that Henry's probably heard some things as well. Now, granted, some people are like, it's about time. That's fine. That's okay. But regardless, we're moving forward on that. Rome wasn't built in a night, as the saying goes. So, I mean, the reality is that it is an expectation with a lot of people, but there's motion and there's energy with that program right now. The word is out, and so I really thank the two of you. And Henry, again, it's always been fun working with you in that with that initiative, and the fact that we have it's been colorful.
Thanks for throwing me in there.
And Henry's had been a driving force as well. But November 30th is our high water mark, if you will, the deadline. And it's going to be really nice to be able to take that information, then again, at least in a meeting in December, put our collective heads together and see where we're at going forward. But what a fantastic initiative for the town and for the MRSWA, extending the life of that facility, which is crucial. Last thing I want to mention is November 6th, for anybody that's here and anybody that's on video, feel free to come to the Recreation Department. 6 o'clock, we're going to have our Recreation Commission meeting. Just like kind of how it's conducted here. If you have something you want to bring up, talk about it. Bring it up. It's very informal, and it's certainly very open. And so come one, come all. But that's going to be at the Rec Center, November 6th, always the first Monday of every month at 6 p.m. Usually lasts for about an hour, hour and a half. We have a student representative on there. Actually, we have two. I'm sorry. Matthew, Mr. Joya and Matthew. And they do a fantastic job. And so, again, yet another positive partnership between the town and the Montgomery County Public Schools, specifically Christiansburg High School. That's all I have to report.
Okay. Mr. Collins.
Yes, sir. The Christmas parade this year is December the 8th. Are we walking the parade?
It depends.
I'll tell you right now, I am. I am. My girls want to do it.
Okay.
So
Well, the reason I ask that is I would like the students who's involved with us to walk with us. And I'd like them to make a sign. Could you get your art department to make a sign showing what we're doing? Showing you guys and stuff, not us.
Will Court be our Grand Marshal?
Our grandfather? Or what? Well, yeah, he should be the Grand Marshal.
He should.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
No, but I'm looking forward to it.
Our Grand Marshal buys dinner, right?
Right.
Yeah, that's Court.
It takes the heat, and
Yeah.
we see it coming, we could jump out.
Okay.
Well, let's just say that we're all gonna, if it's all right with everybody, then we're gonna walk.
Yeah,
on
okay.
Weather
in that
permitting.
parade.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
This year.
Well, last year, the weather couldn't get no worse than it was last year. Yeah, it was cold.
The year before was 74 degrees.
Yeah,
They'll light the
last
tree
year was
that-
0. How much was it last year?
They'll light the tree lighting that night as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is right before.
And the only other thing I'd like to say is, tonight's the first time that this man has held the position that he's in tonight, the top dog over there, and he's done a great job, hasn't he? He really has. Yeah.
Good going.
No, it's not easy.
It's not. All right. Anything else, Mr. Collins?
No, sir.
All right.
Thanks, buddy.
All right. The only thing I have is tomorrow I'm be attending a groundbreaking ceremony for Town and Country Vet. Apparently they're building a new building next to McDonald's on North Franklin Street. That event starts at 12, from 12 to about whenever. So once again, I'll be attending that. All right.
Can I ask one question, Mr. Bishop?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Winfield, I know this is not this does not deal with the town. This is nothing we have control over, but I want to ask you because you may be in the know, and this way Mr. Patel can take this back because I drive that every day 4 or 5 times for the high school. And I'm about fed up with it. Do we have any time frame? Today there's about a 6-inch dip. I've noticed that where you just fall off the edge and your car just scrapes.
They started paving today.
They're doing the paving today. And I know that's not us, but so that's maybe the next 3 or 4 days that'll be.
Certainly hope so.
Please take that back. I know that's it's been a mess.
And they're thinking this is gonna be through about when?
I would hope that they be substantially done in that it shouldn't be much of a traffic obstacle next week.
Very good.
All right, so we're saying they're gonna be done next week?
Well, there's always things like.
Don't tell anybody that. It's first of the year.
Steve Hopper.
Essentially, I think the traffic won't be obstructed. And like I say, I think the equipment will be out of the way. They always have to come back and do seeding and things like that.
So it's one of these things that's in the mail.
Yes, it's close.
Anything else? All right, any other business? Mr. Stipes?
Okay. Request for a closed meeting under Virginia Code, Section 2.2-3711, parenthesis A1, for the discussion, consideration, and interviews of prospective candidates for employment, et cetera, et cetera. The closed meeting is in reference to the town manager position. I'll make that in form of a motion.
Second.
Have a motion, let's second. Madam Secretary?
Yes, sir. Councilman Collins?
Aye.
Councilman Hall.
Aye.
Councilman Hubbard.
Aye.
Councilman Showalter.
Aye.
Councilman Stipes.
Aye.
Votes 5-0, motion is passed. Council will take a 5-minute recess and we will convene in closed session. No, we read. Read live.
Okay. I move that, no, excuse me, I move,
No,
I make a motion, sir?
make a motion to come out of closed meeting.
Okay, I'll make a motion to come out of closed session.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Madam Secretary.
Yes, sir. Councilman
Sorry.
Collins.
Aye.
Councilman Hall.
Aye.
Councilman Hubbard.
Aye.
Councilman Showalter.
Aye.
Councilman Stipes.
Aye. We go
All right,
everybody,
the
Councilman.
vote's 5-0. We now come back out into open session.
Okay, I move to certify that the town council of the town of Christiansburg meeting, closed meeting, to the best of each member's knowledge, discussed only public business matters lawfully exempt from open meeting requirements by Virginia law, and only such matters as are identified in the resolution to enter into closed meeting.
Second?
All right, we have a motion and a second. Madam Secretary.
Yes, sir. Councilman Collins.
Aye.
Councilman Hall.
Aye.
Councilman Hubbard.
Aye.
Councilman Showalter.
Aye.
Councilman Stipes.
Aye.
All right, votes 5-0, motion passed. Okay, council's actions on the matter is that there was no action taken. I don't think that have to be a motion, does it?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. I hope not. Is there anything else? If not, council meeting is adjourned.